Okay, good morning. We're going to continue talking about percents today. Now, in Thursday's class, we talked about how percent and fraction are actually representing the same thing, but they're just different forms of that same value. Today, we're going to talk about how decimal falls into play. And what we're going to find is that percent and decimal are also the same thing, just of the same value represented differently. And we know from earlier in the year that fractions and decimals are the same thing, and we can go back and forth. And the reason I did these double-sided arrows is because that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be jumping back and forth between percents, fractions, and decimals. So if I give you a fraction, could you convert that into a decimal? Could you convert that into a percent? If I gave you a decimal, could you convert that into a fraction? Could you convert that into a percent? And we're going to see that all of these are interconnected and again representing the same value just in different ways. We're going to start off where we left off last week with fraction conversions. Now, I asked you last week to convert 1/4 into a percent. And the method we use is we create a proportion, and we always put it over 100, and that's how we're going to figure out the percent. And this is our key that we're going to use every time. We're going to look for a relationship. This should be review. 4 times 25 is 100. Again, it's really important that we're starting to memorize the factors of 100. 50, 25, 20, 10, 5, 2, 4. Those are all factors, and that's going to help us jump and use these relationships. So I'm going to find out, I'm going to do the same relationship. 1 times 25 is 25. So there is my percent right here. So 1/4 and 25% represent the same thing. For example, if I said 1/4 of the class is girls, you would also know that 25% of the class is girls. Okay, again, different ways to express the same value. Now I'm going to flip it on you guys. What if I said I have 30% of something, and I want you to start at a percent, which it is, and convert that into a fraction? How would I do that? Well, when we started talking about percents, that percent, there's even a nice little space right there. It's per, that means out of 100. So all I need to do is put this percent, is turn it into fraction form. 30 over 100. There's my fraction right there. Again, I took 30%. I put the 30 in my numerator, and my denominator when I'm talking about percents is always, always, always 100, because that cent up here means 100. But, so we've got our fraction form, that's good, but it's not totally complete. What do we need to do here? Well, I can see that I can reduce. I'm looking at the zeros over here. This ends in a 0, this ends in a 0, so that tells me that this is divisible by 10. It's not always going to be divisible by 10. You got to be flexible and think about what number can I divide the 30 and the 100 by. Sometimes you need to take more steps. That's okay. We're just going back to reducing fractions. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 100 divided by 10 is 10. So there's my reduced fraction. 3/10 and 30%. They equal the same